And welcome back into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long here with you for the next hour. We're so excited that you're joining us. If you are just tuning in, you have tuned in at the right time. We are talking to the expert in the legal field. That's Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm, in business over 35 years, one of the top law firms in the entire, I was going to say country, and I will say country.
Well, he's bold tonight, isn't he?
Well, I tell you, I've seen it. Kevin and I have sat next to each other for years now doing this show. So enjoy it. We so enjoy the calls that come in.
Absolutely.
I learn so much every time I do it with you.
I can't help but do this. You know, there's a saying, you can't help someone without helping yourself. I believe that. I believe every word of it. So as we're helping you, don't worry about Kevin Kennedy. Don't worry about Chuck, because we try to help others. It always comes back. You know, the Bible says you will reap what you sow. So true. All
right. If you do have one of those questions or comments, so make sure you get online with us at 737-7587. Let's head back to the lines right now. Reverend is on the line with us. Reverend, good evening. We're glad that you're joining us. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Good evening. I got a question. Kevin, you look real sharp tonight. You're dressed up in your three-piece suit.
Thank you. So kind.
Things are becoming a little bit more informal nowadays about how people dress. So here's my question. Number one, is there a dress code when you go to court? Who sets that dress code? You as a lawyer, could you wear a jogging suit to defend my case? What's the dress code in court? Does it have to be dressed a certain way?
Yep. It's a great question. And so there are dress codes, both for the participants who come and watch. You know, they say no shorts, no sleeveless tops. So the judge sets that. He can permit it or not. You know, men can't have hats on. And we, as lawyers and attorneys, have to wear a coat and tie. The air, I was in a major trial one time, the air goes out. In those courtrooms, there's no windows. It was so hot, it was hard to think. And I remember one time I said, Your Honor, may I have permission to take my coat off? And the judge said, No, Mr. Kennedy. And I said, respectfully, I kept my coat on, went through the trial. We won. I have never forgotten that. On another occasion, I was there in a courtroom and the air went out there. And I said, Your Honor, may I take my coat off? I had a three-piece suit on. And they said, certainly. So the judge carries on. They want to keep order. And so that's the rules. We go by the rules. We submit to the judge. We're officers of the court. And so whatever they say is the way we try to operate with them. But it is an excellent question. Thank you.
Absolutely, Reverend. Thanks so much for calling in. You know, in all these years, I think that's the first I was like curious from that question too. So I'd never really thought about exactly.
Well, I've seen some lawyers come in casual, and I've heard the judge say, y'all tell Mr. So-and-so if he will step out, he can get another lawyer to make his coverage, please.
So that kind of gets the message across.
That's the message, you know. Okay, because some people want to bend the rules. Well, I'll just come in without a tie. Well, the rules are clear.
Okay, good to know. All right, thanks again for that question. Let's go back to the lines. Lee is on the line with us. Lee, good evening. Do you have a question for Kevin? Can you hear us, Lee? Okay, one more time. We'll try Lee. Can you hear us? All right, we may have called. Lee, if we did lose you, just give us a call back at 737-7587. Let's head to the lines with John. John, good evening. We're glad that you're joining us. Do you have a question for Kevin?
Oh, yes, I do. I wonder, is there any way possible that you can stop these robocalls from calling? They call from one number and it goes to my voicemail.
It'll drive us crazy.
Call them back at another number.
Yes. John, thank you for that, because it affects lots of people. In fact, we have them call the office. And so a lot of people have been calling the Tennessee Consumer Affairs. They can direct you to who you should talk to and put that block on your phone. You know, there was a law out there that said, you know, every time you get an unsolicited call, that they can be fined up to $1,500. Well, I hear that, but I never see the reality of it. And of course, you get unwanted calls. We do too. So I would probably start Tennessee Consumer Affairs.
And kind of as a follow-up to that, and thanks again for the call.
Yes, John.
John. they always say don't give your Social Security,
Absolutely.
don't give credit card numbers, some people soliciting. But the other day, I was on the line with the credit card company.
Yes.
And they called, and while I was they had sent me an email, and I just wanted to double check while I was on hold with them. It was prompting, and it said enter your Social Security number. And they said, well, actually, we do that, from time to time because we're checking certain validities and that sort of thing. If that is the situation, is it best to just, err on the side of caution and just say no?
Absolutely. The con games are so sophisticated, even the most skilled are falling in the trap. So here's what Benjamin Franklin said. He said, when in doubt, don't. Should the flags go off when they ask you for your Social Security number? Yes. Even on your credit card, they say just give us the last four. And so, when you're dealing with the IRS, we want to know your social. Well, again, what do you do if somebody opens your mail? It's all critical, and people at the bank, they've got access to those kinds of things. So I always say now, err on the side of caution.
All right, good to know. I think we need to take a break right now, but more of you are calling and getting on the line with us. If you do have one of those questions, make sure, again, the number right there on your screen, 737-7587. We'll take a break. Back with more questions. You're watching Open Line.